president of the private sector organization of Jamaica Matriciago, speaking at this morning's regional private sector leadership breakfast at Sandals, Montego Bay, adds it's time the region stops looking outward to facilitate trade and instead focus on making businesses easier between its own member states.
Single market and economy, but those goals need action. We need to tear down the non-tariff barriers that make trade between our islands harder than it is to have trade with countries that are thousands of miles away. Let us simplify the protocols. Let's make it easier to do business across our respective borders. We have the talent, the creativity, and the natural resources. And with the right framework, we can finally compete on a global scale. I remain confident in the power of Caribbean people, confident in our private sector's willingness to collaborate, confident in our West Indies cricket team.
And we will have more from the breakfast, including responses from other regional leaders in CVM News at 7. With major steps being taken to improve the country's water infrastructure, ground was officially broken under the Western Resilience Water Project, a multi-billion-dollar initiative to boost supply along the island's north coast. With more, here's Akeem Oret.
With shovels in hand and heavy machinery on standby, the government has broken ground on what it calls a transformative water infrastructure project for Western Jamaica. Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says the Western Resilience Water Project is a bold investment in Jamaica's future.
But the $22 billion that we are underway with now is a subset of what we will do over the next 5 years to improve and build in resilience. It's a subset of what we will do over the next 5 years to improve and build in resilience for water supply for some 900,000 Jamaicans.
Phase 1 of the project targets upgrades to key pipelines to strengthen distribution.
This phase of this project will invest 28 billion Jamaican dollars in 2 transmission mains that will move water from the Martha Brae to the terminal reservoir in the center of St. James, which will transform the water supply in Montego Bay and its environs.
The minister says Phase 2 promises even more, including increased capacity and improved water quality.
Phase 2 will see significant increases in capacity and improvements in quality of water production. That will happen with the construction of 2 new water treatment plants, which we have engaged the World Bank for assistance. These will be done through PPPs. That will be done at Rio Bueno and indeed at Roaring River in Westmoreland. So we expect to add water treatment capacity.
Communities and businesses from Western Jamaica are expected to benefit, especially in tourism and hospitality, where the demand for water is constant. Akeem Oret, CVM News.
The police in Manchester have temporarily shut down operations at the Christiana Animal Market. Investors uncovered a number of untagged animals which were being sold. Now, the move immediately sparked concerns among farmers and buyers, with calls for agricultural authorities to tighten the regulations. Raymond Morrison tells us more.
Sales came to a halt at the Christiana Animal Market in Manchester after police intervened, spotting several untagged cattle. Under current protocols, farm animals must be tagged for health and traceability purposes, a standard managed through agricultural agencies. PNP caretaker for Northeast Manchester, Valentin Wint, says the situation is symptomatic of a larger breakdown within the agricultural system, calling on the Ministry of Agriculture and RADA to act decisively.
The purchasers of the animals were afraid to buy because they were figuring that the police may stop them along the road. But what was borne out in that discussion was that many of these persons tried to get tags for their animals, some for as long as 3 years, and still can't get any tag for the animals. Some said 3 months and couldn't get any. So the practice of selling without the tag is something that happens every single weekend. Now, it proves that there's an inadequacy in the RADA department.
Farmers at the market say they want the system to work, but argue that the blame shouldn't fall on them. They claim they've been trying to follow the rules, but are being let down by a system that's not meeting their needs.
They have not been sending around the people to come and tap the animal. No, it is not working. No. And it's not our fault that it is not working. It's their fault. And they want to put all the blame on us as the farmers, when it is really not our fault. We would like to see the system work. We are cooperating, and the government must do their part and make us see that they are doing their part and don't try to force us.
While the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, has not issued an official statement, it is understood reports on the matter are being reviewed as they consider the next steps. For now, farmers and customers are left in limbo as concerns grow about the future of livestock sales if clear guidelines and support aren't quickly put in place. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
And we invite you to stay with us as we will have more news at noon in just a moment. Giant's Digicel has announced the closure of its news platform Loop. In a message on its website, Loop News bid the Caribbean a grateful goodbye, stating, quote, that after 11 years of proudly serving the Caribbean as a trusted media partner, Loop News is today announcing the end of our operations, end quote. Digicel is also reported to have announced plans to discontinue operation of its regional broadcasting entity, Sportsmax, by August 8. Of course, CVM News will continue to track that developing situation and bring you more as it becomes available. The proposals leading up to the decision being made on the rural school bus system is still being evaluated by the Jamaican Parent Teachers Association. The perspectives of both the leading JLP and the PNP were examined during our lead story segment on Monday.
The upshot for me in the dueling dragons debate between the two sides is that heading into a general election, here we are, where a serious policy difference exists around the transportation of students in rural Jamaica. That for me is a win already, regardless of which side of the argument is the superior side. The fact that this is a serious debate going into an election does suggest to me that the democracy is healthier than we think, regardless of which side of the coin you fall on.
Students come from different parts of the community, some deep rural, some across river, all that sort of thing. Yeah. And there are real issues as to how it is that you get the students in. I think both arguments have significant merits, but I also believe that there are some demerits in terms of the arguments as well.
What is being proposed is something that I am trying to figure out, and because the parents of Jamaica are trying to move away from the taxis. We're trying to move away from the buses that play the loud music and the adult conversations and the disregard of our children, where physical advances are made of our girls while they're traversing these taxis and packed up like sardines, moving from one place to the next. It affects the teaching and the learning experience for every single child who takes a public transport.
Now, in an effort to continue to serve and protect, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, has officially launched its very first artificial intelligence AI police agent, Constable Smart. Speaking on Sunrise, founder and CEO of Amber Group, Dushan Savadeo, says the AI-powered tool is designed to assist the public by providing quick and reliable access to information.
In the past, it was very difficult to access to information, to read hundreds of pages before you get to one information. But what we've done for JCF with the Constable Smart, first of all, we said, how do we make people get access to information a lot more faster?
Yes.
Now, for example, if I want to understand the speeding ticket laws, at what point can I be charged? What point my points are valid? At what point, how many points do I need to accumulate before my license is suspended? this even basic information is not easily accessible and not easily known to most people.
Yes, yes.
And that is why the conversational AI is making it so easy. It can speak in Patois.
Yes, wow.
It can speak in many dialects of Patois. It can
Yes.
understand in Patois those who have difficulties in reading and writing. For them, it becomes so much more easier to get access to information now. Just as a conversation with another person, you ask the questions and it gives you all the necessary answers. So
Come back.